Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. In a campaign that combines the high-octane excitement of cricket with Bollywood star power, Dream11's latest IPL campaign has taken the country by storm. The latest campaign, Aapki Team Mein Kaun, brings together two of the biggest names in Bollywood, Aamir Khan and Ranbir Kapoor, who are challenging each other to a high-energy, unpredictable showdown along with the biggest cricketing stars in India. In this lively banter-filled series, Aamir Khan and Ranbir Kapoor recruit India's cricketing icons such as Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, KL Rahul, Jasprit Bumrah, Surya Kumar Yadav, R. Ashwin and more to play on their dream teams, Aamir 11 and Ranbir 11. The result? A thrilling game that blends cricket, drama and a bit of playful rivalry. The campaign isn't just about the cricket stars. The addition of Bollywood legends like Arbaz Khan, Jackie Shroff with their signature wit and charm gives the campaign a unique mix of humor, star-studded flair as well. Now, fans both of Bollywood and cricket are in for a treat as they witness this incredible crossover. But however, there is the burning question. How much did it cost to bring all of these stars and create this high-energy spectacle? To answer that, we sat down with Vikrant Mudaliar, the Chief Marketing Officer of Dream Sports. Listen in. Vikrant, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you, Shibani. Lovely being here.
What a star-studded campaign for the IPL. It has become a talk of the town for the advertising industry. Tell us more, how did you pull it off? Getting all of these superstars together, cricketers and Bollywood stars, the top names in both these industries.
The kind of response that we've seen across media, across users, has been quite overwhelming, quite frankly. In terms of the creation of the campaign, well, actually, it starts off as an exercise which starts almost 7-8 months back, actually. Very often people feel that IPL as an event happens typically around March, April, and that's when maybe a couple of months back is when brand teams will get into that action mode of saying, let's plan for what we want to do for IPL. So for us, the starting point is what insight do we have? What can we say different this time? Is there an advertising idea which is stemming from that insight? In this case, for the current campaign, it's Aapki Team Mein Kaun, which is very intrinsic to team formation, whether it's in sport or in non-sport. The fact that having a good team increases the chances of success, and therefore using skill, intelligence, your discretion in selecting your team members, we felt that would resonate across the board with not just sports fans, but people in general. So I think that was the starting point of the advertising idea. We, as you know, are a mass media, usage of mass media actually in advertising is very high. We are a platform which has now about 240 million users, which means that we need to now talk to the next 100 million users, possibly. For that, you probably need a reach of audience which is touching 500, 600 million. Now, IPL and cricket in particular is probably the only platform which gives you that kind of reach.
Yeah.
And then you start sort of rethinking what creative devices you could use to try and get this kind of reach. And although it sounds like a cliche, but cricket and Bollywood, and it's cliche for a reason because it actually is true. It gives you that level of reach. And actually, that's what the thinking was.
Listen, there is Rohit Sharma, there is Bumrah, there is Hardik Pandya, there is Rishabh Pant, there is Aamir Khan, and there is Ranbir Kapoor.
True.
All of these superstars in one campaign. What was it like to get them together under one roof?
Yeah, so
and matching the dates and matching the schedules, the cricketing schedules, the shooting schedules of these respective superstars.
And I mean, credit to my team for having pulled off this massive logistical exercise. We get a very small window when the cricketers are free and when the celebrities are free. And also, please realize the director in this case, Nitesh Tiwari, I would like to consider him a celebrity of sorts as well, and his dates being available as well.
Yeah.
So all of that sort of, coming together means that advanced planning needs to happen. A lot of parallel shoots need to happen. And multiple sets need to get created. Figuring out which scene works best for which particular actor or in this case cricketer. A lot of that sort of needs to fall into place. I think the secret really is in advanced planning. getting clarity with all stakeholders in terms of what the requirement is, making sure that execution implementation on that day, on the shoot day, which actually spread over a couple of days. People don't get a sense of the complexity of the shoot in that sense, multiple sets and multiple floors and moving from one floor to another, and all of that happened actually during the shoot. And then quick turnaround and quick sort of, as you will see in subsequent films, it's not the same setting. It's the party setting is one which has set it off, but there are different settings that will happen.
So all of that happened, all of these, even the smaller campaigns happened and were shot on the same day?
Not on the same day. I think it was spread over 2-3 days.
Yeah.
But I think depending on cricketers' availability and Aamir and Ranbir's availability, we had to plan that.
So coming back to creative input, what you just said, you know, with such superstars, it is very easy to get swayed away by the stardom. How do you, pull it back and, bring it to the core messaging, to land those lines, to land that humor, to keep the campaign entertaining and while telling your brand story as well?
Yeah. So it certainly helps that in case of Aamir and Ranbir and even the cricketers, they are very good sports to begin with. Yeah, I mean this whole business of self-deprecation and ability to take a joke at oneself, as you will see, some of it you've seen, more of it you will see, requires a certain level of maturity. It's not the done thing. They're treated as megastars, superstars. There's a certain level of subservience and reverence that comes with these celebrities. But all of them realize that the true enjoyment and the creative sort of juices flow only if we work with that level of self-deprecation, as you call it. A lot of the suggestions were by them, so it becomes easy once they have chosen not to be treated as celebrities. Our job becomes that much easier, to go along with the flow of the acting and then the creative and the script.
Yeah, and now this brings me to the golden question that everyone has been asking. Of course, this ad has been and the campaign has been appreciated for its storytelling, for the humor that it brought into our lives. But how much did it cost? That is the large question that most of the people have written, even on their social media platforms, to get, these superstars under one roof for one ad. How much did it cost? Let's hear it from you.
Yeah, sure. So I won't shy away from the fact that production exercises of this sort are not cheap. I mean, they'll require, investments which will go into crores. Now,
how many crores?
So I'll explain that. What is amusing is the way people are doing their math and calculation to arrive at a cost. So 2 or 3 things we need to look at. One is this whole business of budget optimization, the way we look at marketing at Dream11. What's interesting is that our overall marketing spends are more or less the same. In fact, on a declining trend. If you look at them as a percentage of our revenues. Now, if you have 100 rupees to spend on marketing and you spend 30, and 60, and you change that mix to let's say 20, 20 and 60. That's something that I know, or we as marketers here would know. It's not very obvious to people who are reacting to the advertising of how our marketing spend mix has changed. That's a conscious choice. For example, for the first time in I think 5 or 6 years, we will no longer be the co-presenting sponsor on Jio Hotstar. Significant investment. Till 5 years, we were the official partners of with the BCCI for IPL. Till last year, we no longer are. That we have partnerships with the 9 out of the 10 IPL teams. So my point being that in terms of so-called budgetary savings and optimization and changing the mix is something that we've been doing. Some of that has contributed to saying that how do we change that towards production as well. So that's one. The other is, and I like to call this the hammer and the nail analogy. Let's say the hammer is media weights and the nail is the creative. No, I can choose to keep on buying a heavier hammer or I can choose to sharpen the nail. The ultimate objective of this hammer is to strike the nail and hopefully make an impact. The number of times I strike the hammer could be looked as frequency, and beyond a point, increasing the size of the hammer is pointless. So we consciously said, okay, we'll go for a sharper nail. So that the reason it's a sharper nail is the reason you're asking me this question, because it's created this kind of buzz. And therefore, we consciously said that if we need to over-index on refining and improving the quality of our creative, whether it's celebrities, whether it's the kind of shoot, whether it's the scale of a campaign, we will invest in that. Yeah?
Yes.
So that's the second. The third, and very specifically to your question, this whole creative exercise is part science, part art, and then there is a math behind in terms of how do you apportion an allocation cost to it. We are extremely sort of data centric in terms of the ROI that we calculate. Now, if you look at 1 + 1 + 1 is equal to 111, then that obviously is the wrong math. So Ranbir's celebrity fees plus Aamir's celebrity fees plus the 6 or 7 cricketers equals X crores, and that X crores plus production of Y crores means Z crores is what they would have spent. All our deals are with the celebrities, including the cricketers, are long-term in nature, if not 1 year, 2 years probably. Yeah, we use them. IPL is just 2 months in a year. What about the balance 10 months? We use that IP, that imagery in terms of creative assets all throughout the year. So what it will call for is a very complex Excel sheet where we can figure out that how much actually do we need to apportion a cost to this particular film, which from an ROI and a unit economics point of view will still be sort of, we would like to believe, cost efficient for us. Again, going back to the question, it's running into several crores, obviously.
How many?
Until I do this exercise, Shibani, I myself will not be able to tell you.
Okay,
Correct?
okay, chalo. Having said that, how do you measure the ROI for a campaign like this, in which you've spent several crores, as you mentioned?
So it's something even if this sounds a little immodest, as a science that we've built over the years.
Yeah.
So there are very hard metrics that we look at it from an ROI point of view. One of them will be user growth. We are sitting on 240 million users. How much users do we end up in the entire calendar year in terms of increasing it, and during IPL in specific. If you look down the funnel from users, we'd go down to paid users, and then we look that as a metric. Then we'll allocate a particular cost overall for at a blended level, as we like to call it, for a CAC or a customer acquisition cost, and then we will look at payback, that if you spend so much on acquiring a customer, what does the payback for the customer look like? And we monitor and track that, which in some cases, as you would know, also translates to the LTV or the lifetime value of the customer. So that would be another one. Retention of existing users. How many of them come back and start playing on Dream11? How much time are they spending? How many contests are they entering? Yeah. So these are, as I said, some of the more business-related metrics. Then there are brand health-related metrics, which classically will be around what is my top-of-mind awareness, what is my spontaneous awareness, what is my intention to purchase, what is my, all of these relative to competition, has that changed? My app installed data, pre-IPL, post-IPL, how much of that has increased? How much of that, what is my uninstall rate looking like? Which am I trending on the Play Store or the App Store among a particular category? Is there spillover effects of acquiring users for IPL, but they are also playing more contests on other sports properties that we have, not just cricket. But
what has been the impact, though, of this particular campaign? It's been a week since it was released.
Yeah, it's too early.
How much percentage of your annual spend is dedicated to IPL, and specifically this year, how much was dedicated to IPL?
Yeah, so because the year is not over, I won't be able to comment on how much we will end up using. It's something post-IPL, maybe we can talk about it. It also varies from year to year, where depending on the number of market tournaments you have. So like, last year, if you have a IPL, you also have a World Cup, and you also have an Asia Cup or some other, in this case, obviously, Champions Trophy just happened. So I think that also changes the skew, whether it's which quarter or which half, and some amount of budgetary planning we need to sort of do accordingly. But yeah, majority of the spend in excess of maybe 50% will get done in the first 6 months, is because first 6 months of the year coincide with finishing of the IPL.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. It was wonderful chatting with you, Vikrant.
Same here. Thanks so much for taking the time. Lovely talking to you.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Kapil Grover, Group Chief Marketing Officer and Digital Officer, and Cicily Thomas, President of Burger King India, speaking about their 500+ stores journey in the country. Welcome back, and now we have two dynamic leaders from Burger King. Kapil Grover, Group Chief Marketing Officer and Digital Officer, and Cicily Thomas, President of Burger King India. Together, they have been at the helm of one of the fastest growing QSR, that is the quick service restaurant brand in India. As Burger King celebrates its impressive milestone of 500 plus restaurants across the country, we'll take a deeper dive into its journey, strategies that worked and future plans. They are also speaking to us and giving us an insight into the QSR market in India currently and how has QCom changed the game. Over 500 stores in India. Tell us more, how do you look back at the journey of Burger King in the country? You've been the first employee of Burger King. So how do you look at the journey?
You just told me that you were there at our first opening in Oberoi, so it's great that you and I have been here through the whole journey of 500. We built our first 100 in under 5 years. And I think a couple of the key strategies that got us here was that we took the Burger King global framework, we took that experience and we kind of localized it to the Indian palate. We curated it onto vegetarian dishes, onto Indian taste. So that kind of helped us understand and get the Indian consumer. When you have your product right, then you got to get your location right.
Yeah.
Right? And then we got our location right, and of course the malls, and you've seen us grow from store number 1 to Palladium. So we built our marquee stores, and then slowly we used the cluster approach, went in region by region. And today proudly can say we're there in the metros, we're even there in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And that is why in 11 years we're at 500 stores. It's been quite a journey.
So first 100 stores in the first 5 years.
5 years, yes.
And then over 400 in the next 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
How did that happen?
See, so once you have your scale, then I think it's easier to expand. Also what happens, Sonali, is that over the time you learn how you want to grow. So we also went back and we also have a vendor which helps us in assessing the trade market.
Sure.
So we use outside a lot of tech and digital experience to now understand how do you map trade areas. You have so much technology available today which wasn't available to you in the first 5 years. So you use a lot of, even your aggregators, your delivery data. Today you have so much online information, you use gap maps, use different tools to kind of identify where you can open stores.
Sure.
You use the learnings from your previous stores, you know what kind of formats to open, what footprints to open, and the tier 2, tier 3 unlock growth opportunities. So after COVID, tier 2, tier 3, also the demand sped up because a lot of people migrated back to their hometowns. So that gave us the growth. So while we focus on metro growth, we also added on the tier growth. I think that kind of speared up in the last 4 years.
Yeah, and now as you go forward, you're also focusing, Kapil, on getting a stronger foothold of your presence in the tier 2, tier 3 markets. So tell us more, what is going to be the strategy there? What are some of the key insights of these markets? What do they love to eat at a Burger King outlet?
So I think just to sort of tell you about our strategy for the brand so far, value has been a key pillar of our strategy. I think in India, if you have to scale any brand, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, value has to be a big part of your strategy. We've been a strong value player from day one, whether it was the 2-4 campaign in 2017 or the Stunner campaign or the Tasty Meals last year. We continue to build on that and offer consumers great value for money. Right? It's not just about low price point, great value for money. Number 2 is innovation. We've done a lot of innovation. As Cicely mentioned, we designed the menu for India. And we have the flexibility with our franchisor in Burger King that we can design the product for the Indian consumer. We are willing to adapt our menu. So you look at our menu items, and you mentioned tandoori chicken burger is your favorite. That's a product available only for the Indian consumer. In fact, the entire menu, you look at the puff, we recently launched the puff. It's a very popular product in India. We launched the chicken puff, we launched chicken nuggets, which is a different recipe for India.
Yeah. Right?
So innovation is important, relevant innovation is important. Then cafe came in. Cafe has added a lot more relevance for the brand. Day part, people choosing to have more dairy-based beverages. Coffee as a culture has grown rapidly in the last 3-4 years. So we've been able to grow relevance for the brand by introducing cafes in our business. So, and tier 1, tier 2, Sonali, is not much different. In the olden days, there used to be a dramatic difference between a Lucknow, Jamshedpur or a Delhi. Today, with social media, with smartphones, with bandwidth available across the country, people are exposed a lot more. I mean, a youth in Lucknow, Jamshedpur is not so different to a youth in Delhi. They're far more aware, they're far more exposed, and they want to have the same experience.
And which one has been your blockbuster innovation in the menu that has really helped you crack India, so to speak?
So I think our top seller is the crispy veg.
Crispy veg.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you, when we were designing the product, Crispy Veg actually has whole Indian spices in it. It's tailor-made for the Indian palate.
Sure.
That's a top seller. Now, obviously, Whopper, it's a global favorite. The Whopper you get in India is a unique product. It's not, we don't sell the vegetarian Whopper. For the Burger King sort of, company in Miami was like, what are you doing? What is this fried vegetarian Whopper? What does it mean?
And how did they react to some of the other innovations like the tandoori paneer and the tandoori chicken?
So it's
when
always
you
a
made
fun
them
conversation.
taste, the global team taste
Correct.
some of these products?
It's always a fun conversation. I still remember talking to Fernando Machado, used to be the head of marketing for Burger King for longest time, and we were talking to him about our first product launch of the Whopper and the campaign.
Sure.
If you recall, our first campaign was about mispronouncing the name Whopper.
Yeah.
Whopper, hopper, call it whatever.
Correct.
Don't call it a burger. Now I was having a call with him and he said, "Listen, Kapil, what are you doing? You're mispronouncing Whopper, the brand Whopper." I said, "When did you last come to India?" He said, "Never." I said, "Can you catch a flight and come down to Bombay?" And he came in, he walked into our stores, and we saw a consumer at the counter having a conversation with the crew, and he said, "Can I have a veg Whopper?" I said, "Fernando, that's your insight, right?" And after that, he never questioned me. Right, so India is a unique market, and I think over years they've come to understand that and appreciate that, and they're far more sort of open and flexible to.
And I just want to add, all their favorite burger today, if they come, is the paneer.
Is the paneer?
They absolutely love the cottage cheese paneer. They have it all the time. They actually wait to come here to have the paneer.
And 10, 11 years down the line now today, if I may ask you, how do you look at the QSR market? Because back then QSRs were the only players providing that 30-minute delivery or like faster delivery, like in your vicinity. But now the likes of Swiggy and Zomato have changed the dynamics. So with these Q-commerce platforms coming in, how do you look at the market dynamics today?
See, it's evolved. You're right. I mean, I've had 16 years in QSR with KFC, Domino's, Burger King, 7 years now. It is evolved rapidly, right? Now, pre-COVID, it used to be primarily dine-in. Most consumers would want to go out, watch a movie, shop, go into a restaurant, high street markets like where we're sitting right now in Chembur. They would come and experience the store. Now, post-COVID, convenience, emergence of OTTs, better bandwidth available. So people are at home, your entertainment is on your phone. Your platforms like Swiggy, Zomato, quick commerce is on the phone. So you want that convenience. So there is a shift in consumer habit that has happened. We play to both the markets, but we still believe that, dine-in, the brand and the experience really happens in the store. This is where you can experience a brand fully. You can use the digital experience here. You can get table service. You can get hot and fresh food, right? And there is still a part of the entertainment occasion for the consumer, right? I mean, you've seen our results in the last, 6 quarters now that we've grown actually dine-in traffic, right? Dine-in will still remain majority part of this category is what we believe. We continue to focus on driving more guests to our stores. We continue to play delivery. We work very closely with all the food service aggregators, Zomato, Swiggy, ONDC, and we sort of work together to generate new insights, offer new products, offer new promotions. But it will always remain, I think for us, the real experience happens in the store.
No more focus is towards dine-in as compared to the delivery?
We believe that dine-in will remain a large part of the play. Right, but that doesn't take away from the consumer need to have convenience at home.
So I think it's a product that plays, right? Like you said, you crave a tandoori. Now, if you don't want to come to the store that you're at home, then you tend to open your delivery and you order it.
Sure.
Right? Or when you're hungry, you don't want to walk, you open and then you browse and then either stop of the mind or you order. So I feel that the experience and the stickiness to the brand happens with the experience at the store. And that's what drives you to order or, the touch point when you're back at home.
Yeah.
So which is why we want to play that experience in the store.
So having said that, how many store openings are coming up in the next few months till we hit 2026, till the end of the year?
We opened about 70 stores last year. We'll continue to be at the same pace.
70 stores this year as well.
70 to 80, give and
70
take. 70
to 80 stores by the end of 2025 is what you're looking at.
Yes.
Awesome. Lovely chatting with you two. And I hope you hit that 1,000 milestone really, really soon.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on 500.
Thank you so much.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, X and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.